All right, let's talk some Raiders. Let's talk some Jimmy Garoppolo back here in the lineup after missing a week with Aiden O'Connell out. And hey, give credit to Garoppolo. He's 2-2 at this point. Could be a lot worse, although obviously wins aren't a team stat, but still, he's done some nice things. He's done some not so nice things as well. I thought he had an up and down performance in this Monday Night Football game. Let's talk about the good. Let's talk about the bad. Let's talk about the in-between. Starting off with this play. This is something that, when Josh McDaniels' offense is working as well as he wants it to work, it's because they can hit on plays like this, where it's a zone coverage play. They're going to run a play action. That's what they want to do. Run the ball a lot, then run play action off of the run, have a tight end who's going to be running, getting into a gap in coverage, hopefully past the linebackers who will hopefully be crashing in to stop the run. You have Michael Mayer, the rookie tight end, trying to get past them. That's the way this play is designed to work. So Garoppolo takes the snap. He's going to run a play action, looks over, and, again, you see how this can work, but there are linebackers underneath. Like, this isn't the easiest of throws necessarily. However, Garoppolo puts it in a good spot. They're able to, hit Mayer and pick up a big gain. Was that a Garoppolo play? No, it wasn't. It was a well-timed play action, good play by Mayer, and honestly goes to show the threat of the running game and how that can help set things up and how calling a play at a good time can help get someone open. How much credit do we give to Garoppolo? I still think some, right? Like, he read the play correctly, knew where to put the football. Like, that's good. Like, that's what you want to, that's what you brought Garoppolo in to do, right? You brought him in to be a facilitator, and I think for the most part he's doing that. Like, this one's another one. It's going to be a 2nd down and 6, and you have Jakobi Meyers, who has been a really nice pickup for them. I talked sort of about when that move happened. I didn't really get why the Patriots went out and let Myers walk and then paid Juju Smith-Schuster basically the same amount of money. Again, who knows? Maybe Jakobi Meyers said, hey, I don't want to have to live in the cold area of Foxborough anymore. Instead, let me go play in Las Vegas. I can get it. Similar money. I probably would choose Las Vegas over Foxborough too, with all due respect to Foxborough. So who knows? But at the same time, I thought it was a really nice pickup, and they didn't have to pay him as much as I think he's worth to be able to pull off moves like this, where it's going to be a one-on-one matchup. It's man coverage. There is a safety in the back of the end zone, but as long as you cut underneath, you're going to be okay. And in fact, the safety is shaded pretty far over towards the bottom of the screen due to there being an extra receiver on that side of the field, which is a bit odd because there's a tight end and a halfback, as those are 2 of the 3 receivers towards the offense's right. So in my opinion, I'm putting the receiver over where Myers and Adams are. That's just me. But anyway, as you see, Garoppolo is going to take the snap. He's looking at Myers, and, there's a window to make this throw for sure. But I really like where you're going to see Garoppolo put this ball. Watch, it's right on the money to where Myers doesn't just make the catch, but is able to continue running and get into the end zone for a touchdown. It's almost like a baton pass, right, where you're able to just, pick up the baton from behind you and keep running at your top speed. Well, obviously, it's a little different, but it's the same idea of you don't want to have to force your receiver to really slow down much, and that's what Garoppolo did. And again, in San Francisco, he was very good at this. This is why they went out and instead of just drafting a guy and hoping they develop, why they got someone like Garoppolo is he can do these things right away. I think the issue with Garoppolo and what drives you crazy if you're a fan of the team that Garoppolo quarterbacks is something like this. Okay, it's a Jakobi Meyers route going underneath. Okay, simple enough. Gain you some yards, sure. You see the player I've circled in black. That's the Packers player who's going to eventually cover Myers. So, all right, doesn't seem like a bad situation here. Garoppolo takes the snap, runs a play action, gets the players to kind of freeze for a second. There's a window to make this throw. There really is. So I understand why Garoppolo wants to make this throw. Here's one of the biggest issues is with pressure coming in front, he's going to kind of throw off his back foot. And watch how he just doesn't get enough air under it, which allows the defender to step in front and get the interception. And instead of getting a completion, it's intercepted there. Really, Garoppolo had to fire that one through, and he had to get it, push it through quickly. I also think that with kind of some other traffic on the other side, made things a little bit difficult. But you got to, lead your receiver. And if you don't do that in that scenario, it's going to be a tough situation. So not a great thing to happen with Garoppolo. And that's kind of the issue with Garoppolo and part of why San Francisco eventually kind of ran him out of town a little bit, right? Your goal is to be the game manager. Well, if you're going to be a game manager, you can't make these errors. You just can't. And in fairness to Garoppolo, this was kind of his only error. Well, I shouldn't say that, but this was his only major error, I thought, in this game, which, again, maybe you can get one a game, maybe you don't even get one, but okay, I'll give you one, I suppose. But he was able to do stuff like this, just the simple stuff, something like this. It's a zone coverage play. You see, that's Devontae Adams' route, and quite frankly, if Adams is running a route in this situation that's like this, that could create a one-on-one matchup against weaker competition, this is going to actually be Preston Smith, the edge rusher who's going to drop back into coverage. Anytime you get Adams on Preston Smith one-on-one, then it's a good situation. So a bit of an exotic look here by the Packers, who are not going to be thrilled when they watch the tape and say, wait, why did we put an edge rusher on Adams one-on-one again? Watch as you're going to see Garoppolo takes a snap. Actually, initially looks towards the other side of the field, but I think he was just doing that to get safeties out of position. I think he was throwing here all the way, sees Adams one-on-one, and it's an easy decision. Watch, Garoppolo puts it on the money, little bit low, but not too bad. Adams is able to make the catch and pick up more yards after the catch. Again, it's the simple stuff. It's the easy stuff. That's what you want to see from Garoppolo. Also what you want to see from McDaniels to be able to get these matchups where you can get Adams one-on-one against an edge rusher, which, okay, listen, that's not, ideal by the Packers, but part of why this works is because, hey, you put your halfback out wide and you had him as the number 1 receiver and you had Adams as the number 2 receiver on that side of the field, and for some reason, Green Bay didn't switch and, say, hey, maybe let's just put Preston Smith all the way out there. Instead, they kept their corner out there and didn't, you got to go for a switch at that point. I mean, I don't know what you're doing in that scenario. But again, you do give credit to the Raiders for taking advantage of their opponent's mistakes. And this play was, I thought, a good one, too, by McDaniels. I'm giving McDaniels surprisingly a lot of credit. I do think McDaniels is a good offensive play caller. I do. I think he has a ton of other issues that really kind of struggle, make his team kind of suffer. I mean, that field goal decision at the end, I hated. I made a whole video talking about why I hated that on this channel. Check that out if you want. But, stuff like this, honestly, McDaniels definitely will at times take the ball out of Garoppolo's hands, but still kind of trust him at the same time, if that makes sense. This is going to be a quick wide receiver screen on a 3rd down and 4. You have Jacoby Myers once again going to be the guy, and watch the accuracy of this throw. Watch how Garoppolo takes a snap. He has that quick release to get the ball over to Myers so quickly and so accurately. Myers is able to pick up that 1st down on a 3rd down and 4. That's really good stuff. So while, yes, there were some issues with Garoppolo and issues with this Raiders offense, it's not a terrible offense. It really isn't. And they were able to make some things happen. Again, there were issues where sometimes guys weren't getting open, and that wasn't ideal. That for sure happened. They got to work on that. They play the Patriots next week. That's actually a pretty interesting game, as the Patriots do kind of have a tendency to find ways to exploit opposing defenses, although certainly not this season, as they've been kind of awful. I shouldn't say awful, because they did come close to beating both Philadelphia and Miami in weeks 1 and 2, but since then have just looked like a mess. So they have to figure out that, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. But if you're a Las Vegas Raiders fan, I do think there's reason to have some optimism here in this season. I don't think it's a lost season the way maybe it would have kind of seemed at times. So that's just kind of how I view all of this. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.